Are we live? Are we 5 by 5? Third cup of coffee, son, in my fancy dancy Speedway cup. This is what the rich people drink it out of. Gas station cup. Why not? Are we 5 by 5 before we get started? I got to explain this thumbnail art here because I feel kind of guilty about it. Oh, let me see. I made it. There you go, Keith. We're in the money. 5 by 5. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for being here this morning. 2 by 4. Well, 2 by 4s are worth money, so I'll take that. You newbies, welcome to Prepper Nation. To you filthy animals that pack it out every morning, us outcasts, shall we say, the usual suspects. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you to the moderators. Y'all do an incredible job. Somebody was saying earlier that we have the best moderators here. So thank you very much. If you see a blue wrench in chat, be sure and say thank you if you don't mind. Let me explain the thumbnail art this morning. And y'all can blame the people that do not subscribe here, and y'all can blame the lurkers because these comments always come from people I've never seen over here in my life. All week for the past 5 or 6 days, I've been focused on thumbnail art. You know, how can we get people to help the platform grow? And I've been getting comments, son, this is scare tactics. This is fear porn. What's going on, Florida man? Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. For 12 months, that's awesome. Trolls are going to be trolls, but they're like, oh, man, this is fear porn, clickbait. This is scary stuff. You're trying to scare people. So I said this morning, you know what? I'm going to use thumbnail art that actually scares me. I would rather have a zombie looking in the thumbnail art, scratching their face or whatever, than I would this skin puppet clown staring into the camera and smiling. That's scary to me. So you want some fear porn and some clickbait? There you go. Now this morning you were justified in saying it's a scary thumbnail, son. Joe Lauderdale, first in the house this morning. Congrats on that. And before we get into this morning's topic, which is an important one, we got to talk about Beetlejuice. If you're in the coffee club, I posted a link to a video yesterday of Beetlejuice dancing the Chinese New Year's parade. Beetlejuice was in the house. I better not say that again. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, for those that don't know, maybe you're brand new to planet Earth, but she bears a resemblance. We'll just say that much. She was dancing. She was cutting the rug, son. And so she never fails to disappoint. This lady is entertainment 101. From the dancing to the pictures and videos of her posting all the money, all the COVID money she received from the government, where she was trying to get, I think it was police officers to come to Chicago and work. Raven P, thank you for the support. We appreciate all that you do. I appreciate everything that y'all do each and every morning. So, you know, the COVID money where she had all these 20s laid out, and then she put the $1 bill on the end because she's Lori Lightfoot. And it is what it is. You can't say a whole lot about Lori Lightfoot. So the poll this, which song would you most like to dance to with Lori Lightfoot? Time of My Life from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. I was hoping for 0% here, but it's 5%. What kind of people are we dealing with in the live chat here, son? 23% friends in low places. Okay. She has a low center of gravity. I can get that one. I can get on board with that one. I will always love you. 5%. So that means 10% of the live chat is y'all are twisted. 67% of you say no, I will just like and subscribe. So it is appreciated, the likes and subscribes and all that. Let me close this down and try not to close everything else out. All right. We got serious stuff to discuss this morning, but look, Lori Lightfoot cutting the rug, son. Joe Biden is set to end C-19 emergencies on May the 11th. This was announced yesterday by Joe Biden himself. I actually didn't see the announcement first. I saw on social media in all caps, because all caps is what the babies use on social media. It's not over. As soon as I saw that trend, I said, here we go. It's got something to do with the C-19. The branch COVIDians are back out. Something's going on. They're posting pictures in N95s and stuff, walking their dogs. I said, here we go. So I looked into it. He did announce that, again, on May the 11th, he's ending the C-19 emergency here in the United States. 20 minutes later, the spokeswoman came out and basically double talked and tried to walk it back a little bit. They contradict each other all the time. This thing was first declared by the Trump administration January the 31st, of 2020. So we missed it a little bit here at Prepper Nation, but we were pretty close. I can remember, yeah, he's going to declare a different emergency. We're getting into it. That's good, though, Chaos Prepper. Quinn, thank you very much. Let me catch it before, oh, God. I'm zooming the screen in, son. Appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Making up for missing live chats these past few weeks. You don't have to do that. No need for it, but thank you. Happy New Year and Foxtrot Julio Bravo. So thank you. It was first declared end of January 2020. And here at Prepper Nation, I remember saying pandemics last 2 to 2.5 years, historically speaking. So this one's been about 3 years. Thank y'all. Tie Time, Dynamite, this one's for you. Brother, we've been getting killed in Warzone. Where have you been? Where have you been? We got slaughtered last night. Dome Seeker was laughing at us. So what does this actually mean? Beaverine, Suzuki Hooligan, thank you for the support. What does this actually mean, him ending this finally after 3 years approximately? It has to do with federal relief money. All right, a lot of stuff has been free up until this point because we are under the Emergencies Act. Again, Trump put it in place, but you can say rightfully so because, you know, everybody was panicking at the very beginning of the pandemic. I don't know anybody, creator here on YouTube or otherwise, that didn't take it seriously for at least a week. You know, I took it serious for about 2 weeks, and then I said, "No, man, this is a sham right here." For the first 2 weeks, I was like, "Oh, this is," you know, because they told us 100 million people are gonna die here in the United States, and I said, "Well, this is bad." You know, I mean, it is what it is. The whiskey shots, once this thing runs out, the Pfizer ones at least are going to begin to cost $130 per dose. What was the date? Why that date? Somebody's asking. So we'll get into that. This also means no more free testing at that point. You're not going to be able to get the test through the mail. A lot of schools and other institutions that are federally funded have been paying people to go around and test for this stuff, and they're going to be out of a job at this point. They're backing away from the C-19 completely is what's happening. He's trying to do it in a way that's not going to upset the COVIDians, but they know it's over. The White House knows that it's ran its course. They're not going to be able to play this flute much longer. It's time. And they don't have the money, quite frankly, to keep funding it because, you know, they're sending it to Ukraine. The COVIDians were saying, China, this thing's not over, which honestly, it's not over. We still have thousands of people each week here in the United States that are passing away, technically from the C-19. Now, I don't know how accurate that is. A lot of stuff is still happening and being blamed. You know, if they had the C-19, it's being blamed. But the reason we continue to hear China, and there's such an outbreak is because they were on like biblical lockdowns for 2 years. I mean, these people would go to bed at night. They would wake up in the morning. The doors don't open because the entire building is hammered shut at this point. They can't get out. That's been happening for the better part of 2 years. And now they're finally exposing themselves to COVID. And so they do have a huge outbreak. Here in the United States, it's not that bad because most people took the masks off a long time ago and just said, you know, it is what it is. This thing's never going away. Forever LTOS, thank you and good morning. Thank you for the support. So another reason that he wants to do this is to get people to return to work. People are not working. The elites look at us common folks and they say, how can we get these people to go back to work? Well, you got to stop paying them to sit at home first and foremost, and paying for their every need. This is going to affect a lot of the insurances and things. If I don't knock the lights down, the insurances, there was a lot of emergency insurance, Medicaid and stuff installed at the beginning of this thing. People were able to go to the doctor or a Med Express or something. Medicaid picked it up. They were able to take off work for several weeks or just quit completely. And that's getting ready to be over, folks. But I have something else that I want to pitch. This is a theory on my part, but I think that it's accurate, and I'm going to pitch it to y'all, okay? And somebody had mentioned it earlier a little bit. So here's my theory. The Biden administration and the military generals here in the good old United States of America, we need soldiers. They know we need soldiers. They know that we cannot have a war against COVID and a war against Russia at the same time. We can't fund both. We need soldiers. We got to get rid of the mandates. And I think that they are going to get rid of the mandates. They're going to offer huge sign-on bonuses. They're going to make it as attractive as possible to get people into military service. I think this is part of the military buildup. Yeah, it's a complete pivot, Hunter Moon. They can't do both. All right. We need bodies to throw into Europe, is what it boils down to. You can't fight them both. And mandates deter enlistment. I think they realize if they don't get rid of these things, other people are going to end up leaving the military, because even people that have these shots, not all of them agree with people being booted out of the military. So they're trying to make the military look as attractive as possible all of a sudden. You have a bunch of people. I'm not trying to profile, but a lot of these people are younger. They're in the target area where you would pull from, where you want your soldiers from, that 18 to 25, 27 range, who are not working right now. And they don't know what they're going to do because they've been living off COVID money. And I think the White House is pivoting from free COVID money to, hey, if you sign up for military service, here's a huge amount of money up front. Plus, you don't need to worry about the C-19 anymore. Outdoors with James, I appreciate it, brother. Throwing some love at you, son, for the coffee fund. There you go. So, that's just a theory on my part. But look, these estimates come from NBC News. So take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to do, okay? The U.S. military right now estimates that only 23% of the United States is fit for service, meaning 23% of our entire population are fit enough. They can pass criminal background checks. And another thing that popped up with NBC was psychological issues. Are they on certain medications that we don't want these people to have firearms and things like this? 23% sounds like a decent number to pull from, but that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is when they polled these individuals, only 9% of that 23%. That's a pretty deep cut. Only 9% of that group had any interest whatsoever in military service. Quinn, thank you. I believe you hit the nail on the head. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm right for sure, but that's the first thing that popped into my head. One shiny thing, one chaotic event that everybody's focused on. Now we need you to look toward Europe. Now we got to go bail Zelensky out. Now we got to keep throwing money at it, but eventually money's not enough. All right. The way that politicians work, and it would be unfair just to say Biden. Okay, Biden's terrible at it, but other presidents have been too. They try and print their way out of financial issues and any other issue. They're either throwing money at stuff or they're throwing bodies at stuff. This is how the United States deals with things, and they don't have the bodies to throw. Only 9% of 23%, I'm not a math whiz, I have no idea what that is, are even remotely interested. And most of those people are not going to sign up willingly. So this is about making it look as attractive as possible, making it as hard as possible for people to live without a full-time job because they know young people do not want a full-time job. They've been talking about scaling back to 4 work days a week, actually. Denise Hatton, thank you very, very much for that, and good morning to you. 2%. So Sven says 2%. Okay, if that's correct, that is not a huge number here in the United States of America. That is not a number that you're going to be able to win a world war with. And I think that they know this war is coming. The military generals, we already know it's going to go off in Europe. We already know this. We're already preparing for that. We're putting the hardware in place, not just for Zelensky. We're putting hardware in place if and when the time comes. All right. But now you have military leadership saying it's going to kick off somewhere in 2025. And I think that's accurate with China. Now we're over here trying to fight. Israel's getting ready to get wrapped up into a war. We're looking at a potential world war where the United States is fighting on 3 fronts, and we have 2% of the population that's physically fit enough to fight and actually interested in doing it. So, the next step is a draft, I think. But having said that, we're going to jump in the chat. First of all, who's in the house this morning? I saw Warlord sneaking in. What's up, brother? Chewbacca's here. Old Melon Splitter. Big T, what's going on? Valerian, good morning. Mouse, what's up? Amelia, good morning. We've been doing this a little bit later during the video because, and it's flying. Klaus, Mr. Swab is here. Uh-oh. The dude. Paradise. Because I want to see who's hanging around. Katrinka, good morning. Dana, good morning. Mitzi, good morning. Walk by Faith. Bear Paw, let's see here. Best channel on the tube. Let's show John some love today, folks. He gives us valuable info. Well, I'm going to level with you. I appreciate that, Bear Paw, but I'm not doing anything special over here. Y'all pack it out every morning. Y'all make this happen. Otherwise, I did it for years. I talked into a camera with 10 people watching, and that's what it would be without y'all. So I appreciate y'all very, very much. But thank you. Miss Candy, good morning. How are you? Albert, good morning. And FJB, Salty Dog is up in the house. JRC Holmes said, what's up? Pilgrim, throwing it up, throwing the fingers up. Like Ink Scars, and Ink Scars was in here earlier. He may still be floating around. Shady, what's going on, brother? I subscribed to you yesterday, I think. Hopefully your channel blows up. Pastor Corwin, good morning. Handy Prepper. So, yeah, sorry to hit y'all with that thumbnail art this morning, but we're going to jump into the chat now. Queen Essence, good morning, and see what y'all are talking about. I noticed lots of people talking about feed issues right before I went live. And as somebody that does not have chickens running around, I admit it. Number one, they're getting very expensive, I've heard. But the feed issues, I don't know. I've seen a lot. Normally, when there's that much smoke, there's a fire somewhere. All right. Now, how widespread it is, whether or not it's planned by the WEF, I mean, that's probably a stretch, but I don't trust them. Who knows? Who's to say? I haven't seen all the intel. I don't know that anybody has, but I know a lot of homesteading channels, prominent homesteading channels, are saying, dude, there's a problem. Chickens are not laying eggs. And somebody had mentioned, I think it was Amelia earlier, said goat feed will actually work out for them. Doctor is in here saying crickets for chicken food. Another chicken house burned down the other day. Yeah, Melissa, we were talking about it yesterday, and it up to 100,000 chickens, they said, got taken away to that chicken coop in the sky. Take them off store-bought food, Patty C says. Table scraps. A bunch of people are saying table scraps. Not a lot of people got table scraps right now. They can't afford them. SA said Bear Independent covered it yesterday. I know Doug and Stacy did too. These are not channels I watch every single day, but I will sit down. Like today, I have extra time. So I'm probably going to post something over on Patreon, and then I'll sit down and I'll watch, Bear's couple of latest, or Doug and Stacy, or you know, just the bigger channels, if you will, and try and get caught up. So fried chicken should be cheap right now. I see what you did there, Raven P. It is in that area. It's not around me, so it's not cheap. Let's talk about that hat and how to get one. Someone actually sent this to me with a bunch of these patches. Fear the beaver. Fear the beaver. I had someone asking right before we went live, what does beaverine mean? And I still don't know. When I think of beaverine, I think of lovers and fighters. You're willing to do both, son. You're willing to be a lover. Uh, what was Bama Jen saying earlier? The mattress dance, I think is the way she put it. But you're also willing to strap up, and we need that. We need some more of that in this world. And plus, all of these scary, scary animals out here that creators are using, just petrifying animals, and we're kind of the outcasts of the community in many ways. And so nobody really pays attention to the beaver, but the beaver gets things done. The beaver's always building, you know what I'm saying? To a fault. Yeah, we hold the line, Queen Essence says. I don't blame you. Jim Smith's World says I strap up daily. Right now, I ain't blaming you on that, man. Yeah, it's a spinoff of Wolverines and Red Dawn, and I'm not responsible for it, Romans. Somebody actually there were two conversations one day during a huge live chat. We had like 2,700 people in live chat, and I didn't know what's going on. And one group was talking about Red Dawn, one group was talking about edible animals. And somebody brought up beaver trying to be cute, and it just kind of spiraled out of control from there. So pet food is looking bad in this area. It continues to look bad. Anybody else seeing this, or is this just in Surrey County? Because I don't get out much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not traveling coast to coast here. Sergeant Mike says strapped up 7 days a week. Good morning. I see you. That's literally their name. Good morning. I see you too. It's all over. Okay. Asian's daughter. Thank you. Beaver works for chicken feed. I don't know about that essay. I think maybe we're having two separate conversations right now. I think in the long term, chickens would starve probably. What's up, Jason in Virginia? But that's what makes it so interesting. Jacob S says, yep, it's happening as well. And the only other thing I have is there were a bunch of comments yesterday, rightfully so. People were listening at work, and they were taking time out of their day to comment because there's this push for a 4-day work week. And this idea is really taking off in Europe. A lot of companies are embracing this. They're saying 40 hours a week is too much for people to be working. They get stressed out, they get overworked. And of course, we covered it yesterday, and people were leaving comments. They were pissed. They were like, dude, I'm working 75 hours a week, 80 hours a week, 40 hours a week is nothing. So, and I agree with that. I mean, 40 hours a week, it really is nothing. I can remember unloading trucks at Walmart, because this is how I had to make it when I first moved out. Before I got married, I had a townhouse. I had rent I had to pay. Okay. And I had to buy stuff. I had a little hoopty going on, stereo system. I needed gas money and stuff like this. So I was unloading trucks at Walmart on midnight on graveyard shift. And then I was working as a cashier at a dollar store for the morning. And so I would sleep in the afternoons, and literally every day that I had off, I was sleeping. and still barely making it. But you learn not to take things for granted. You know, once you get out of that situation, anybody that's ever worked more than 40 hours a week, which is probably everybody, it was an old Honda. It really wasn't a fancy Amelia. You don't take things for granted. And I think that a lot of younger people, and I don't mean to, again, I know there are hardworking young people, but there seem to be a lot of younger people that don't understand that. They think it's just given to them, and maybe they're in a situation where they've been lucky enough to have everything handed to them, but I wasn't in that situation. You know what I mean? I didn't wanna live with my mom until I was 35. I wanted to get out and do my own thing, but it's not like she could go out and buy all this stuff for me. I had to figure it out. Um, Soft times, soft younger people. So, I don't know. I just think these people like to complain, man. You know, $8 an hour is not enough. We need $15 an hour. Okay, here's $15 an hour. We'll double the price on everything where you work. Okay. Well, 40 hours a week is too much. We need 4 days a week. It'll never stop. If you give these people 4 days a week, that'll be too much, or the pay will be too insignificant. It really comes down to the mentality of a person. You know, you either want to work hard and get out of the situation, or you want to stay in that situation and blame everybody else. Um, Mother of Cajuns, work ethic is terrible now. Thank you for the support. 24 months. That's awesome. Thank you. It really does come down to work ethic, and part of that's parenting, and part of it, I think, is just the culture has changed. I don't know. It's just changed so much. 32 hours a week. Yeah, Mark, and they'll complain about it eventually, you know? Um, which again, I work 2 jobs, but I watched my mom do it, and her jobs were much tougher as a single parent than me. Um, and I've done pretty much everything that you could think of, from talking on the phone at Dish Network to factory work to retail. I wasn't in love with any of it, but I had to do it. CDL driver and 80 hours a week is normal, Lee Davis says. And a lot of people look at CDL drivers um, because the stereotype is, man, CDL drivers make a lot of money, you know, which is true. They do make a lot of money, but they work for it. It's not like somebody's just handing them money over. You know what I mean? My mechanic used to be a coast to coast trucker. And man, let me just say, he's got some really nice stories about truck stops and stuff. Yeah, squirrel. Let me see here. Squirrel. Well, I had to open that Pandora's box, didn't I? Squirrely Radio, 32 hours a week, but they will still want 40 hours of pay. And they're going to want $20 an hour at that. And then they're going to say it's a snowball effect, because they'll say, we can't live on $15 an hour. We still can't afford stuff. We can't afford stuff because everybody's had to double how much it costs to pay you $15 an hour, and to pay people in your situation $15 an hour. CEOs are always going to be rich, son. This is not going to stop. They are not going to pull money out of their pockets to pay employees. The bigger CEOs and stuff, they're going to continue to be rich. You're going to continue to be in your situation. It doesn't matter if you're getting paid $100 an hour. You getting paid $100 an hour, that sounds great, until you go to Applebee's and the meal costs $450. These people don't understand basic mathematics, arithmetic, as we call it here in the woods. If you want a hard job, be a mail carrier, carry. I don't know. I don't know. The mail carrier that we have is cool. I mean, he's a nice dude. He's younger. And then when I drive up to get packages and stuff, the guy that works the desk, because it's a really small town, I coached him in football, in youth football. So he's cool too. He was our quarterback. Farm work at $12 an hour. Michael G. Those jobs are being replaced though because illegals will come in and they will work 40 hours a week with no complaint, and they will do it for $12 an hour. And this is the issue. You know, a lot of people are complaining themselves out of the workforce entirely, you know, and then they go right to government assistance at that point, because what else are they going to do? Roofing. Loretta says my first job was roofing. I can't imagine. I'm scared of heights, so I've never really did any roofing, but yeah, it wouldn't be the job for me. Made $2 an hour babysitting at 12. How about this? This would be a fun question this morning. What is the lowest you were ever paid hourly that you can remember? Like when you first joined the workforce, I think minimum wage was either 425 or 475. I don't remember. I started in a restaurant. It was one or the other. 425, I think, is what I was making. $1.65. Woo. My wife's granddad, yeah, $1.65, somebody else is saying as well. My wife's granddad, before he passed away, he was digging through his old gun cabinet and he found a check stub where he worked for like the highway department. He said it was backbreaking work, working on roads and stuff. And his paycheck was like $285 for the week. Free. Well, of course, there you go. Yeah, sometimes family, they draft you. 50 cents. What are you 50 cents? What are you doing? Selling Grit magazine? Oh, 50 cents a bale. Okay, I got you. Bale and hay. What that's hard work for 50 cents an hour. 10 cents per bale. What do you think people ought to be paid now in terms of minimum wage? Because people do deserve a living wage, but I don't think minimum wage is really designed to carry people long term. You know what I mean? $10 an hour, Tam Tam says. Patty C, $18, $9. And now keep in mind, you know, gas prices and inflation and stuff right now. I think $10 depends on the job. $10. A lot of people are saying $10 an hour, and I think that's pretty fair, considering, because the whole thing with minimum wage for me, it should be a short term thing. Like you should be in that situation, and there's nothing wrong with honest work even at minimum wage, but you should understand, hey, if I want things, I've got to improve my situation and I've got to work on getting something that pays better. Yeah, Grit Magazine's paradise. I don't actually have any, but I got some old books that have Grit Magazine ads in them. Yeah, minimum wage is a starting place. I agree, Raven P, and it's really something that's designed for teenagers. You know, let them get their feet wet, let them learn a little work ethic and stuff like this. It's not really designed for a parent that has 3 kids. But again, I know some people have no other choice and they just find themselves in that situation, but you don't want to be there for 30 years. Is my approach to it anyway. Seniors need more than $10 an hour to go back into the workforce, Briar Patch. So, yeah, one of the issues that are low, because my wife works in education, one of the things that they're dealing with right now, they don't have enough educators. And they had a bunch that recently retired that won't come back to even substitute because it doesn't pay enough. They're like, "No, we're done." You know what I'm saying? And they can't pay enough to lure new people in, or if you get new teachers, they're not quality teachers. Trade schools. Now I'll have teachers saying, "I'm a quality teacher." They'll be messaging and stuff. So that's not every teacher, folks. Yeah, doctor says trade schools. if I had to do it all over again, I'm an old buck now. But if I was a young buck, trade school all the way. There's lots of money to be made in trade fields and things, once you know what you're doing. I took a class in high school on welding, and I kinda sorta thought, I wanted to do a trade, and then welding, I was like, "Nah," it just didn't click, and I didn't pursue it any further. I should have tried something else, but, I ran from that class. That's some hard work, man. America does. Bama Jen says we need plumbers, electricians, AC and heat technicians. There's a shortage. We're always talking about police officers and teachers and doctors, which there is a shortage on that, but there's a shortage on these trade professions too. Try and get some work done at your home right now. Try and get a plumber up in there, for example. Mike's been a welder for 25 years. That's some hard work, man. Um, it's hard to get these people to your home because they're either overbooked or they're very, very expensive. And there's just not a lot of them out there. When you go to contact a plumber, for example, you can't find one. Or they're like, yeah, I can be there in 2.5 months and it's gonna cost X amount of dollars. And it's because there's such a shortfall. Michael G says, yeah, teaching doesn't pay. It really doesn't. And this is I mean, it's always been that way, Michael G, but now you're teaching slash now they expect you to be a counselor and everything else. OkieCon, what's happening? What's happening? Bill B, taking it to the ditch. I've been trying to get a job as a beaver groomer. Good luck with that. I can't help you out on that, but hey, good luck. The Copper Goat, you can learn to do almost anything on YouTube. There are so many YouTube channels. YouTube is one of those deals where I love it because, literally you can learn anything. I'm in starting to get into not to get too personal, but I'm starting to get into football. Real football, Premier League, not American football because y'all know. But anyway, starting to get into it, and I don't know a whole lot about the team, so I'm pulling this up online and stuff. But YouTube can become this time suck. Like you start on a YouTube video, it'll be 2.5 hours later, and I'm sitting there like, what am I doing here? What am I even watching at this point? It'll start over here and then it's way up here in the trees somewhere. Um, I learned to cut hair on YouTube, Kimberly. It's because I took my hat off. Kimberly's just making a little side joke there. I ain't got that much hair, Kimberly. Um, but I will tell you this, Kimberly, that's how my mom, and I was just saying, work yourself out of that situation. She was working, the poor lady was working a factory job, and then she was working retail, and then she was actually going to school for hair and stuff. And she got a degree in that, and that's actually how she got out of that situation. And she was making more money doing that. She ended up retiring as a hospice nurse because she had some nursing as well, and she went and finished that up. There was a lot of money in hospice nursing, but she was not home a lot. And for those that know Caveman James, because she wasn't there a lot, because I was a little ragamuffin, I used to skip school a lot with Caveman. And she didn't know. She was none the wiser. She didn't know I wasn't going to school. I had to confess to that later on. There's a nursing shortage. Yeah, Carrie. There has been, and part of it is again, they shot themselves in the foot. Here's a mandate. Nope. A lot of nurses walked away. Um, and it is what it is. They did part of it to themselves, and then some I would assumption on my part that some nurses just got burned out during the pandemic. I can't imagine being a nurse, especially during the height of the pandemic. It would get old after a while, knowing that you're going in every day and you're going to deal with that. Well, Karen says pay should be based on where they live and the cost of living. It is, to a degree. Now, I don't know about the minimum wage, but the median pay is kind of based on that, the cost of living and stuff. Ali Nunya, thank God I retired before the pandemic. I'm assuming that you were nursing and stuff, and they probably, if that's the case, they were probably calling trying to get you back. They got burnt bad, yeah, VR Lab girl. Because they tried to strong arm people into taking, the whiskey shot, you know, threatening y'all know, threatening people with their jobs, "You're gonna do this or else," and a lot of people did because, to be fair, they didn't wanna lose their income or they got kids to take care of and stuff, but some people were just that's a line they weren't gonna cross, and they just walked away from the, profession. Same thing was happening, in law enforcement and stuff like that. I mean, and even in the military we have a shortfall in our military, and it's not all because of the mandates, but the mandates didn't help. You know what I mean? We should have been over recruiting, knowing that we're getting ready to get tied up into a war, and instead, they wanted to make a point. They wanted to boot people out of the military. Mr. Ray, healthcare is a dying profession. I don't know if that's a really good joke or if you actually think that. Um, I'm taking it as a clever joke, though. Woke military, Michael G. The wokeness does not help either. A lot of people that I would think so, at least from my perspective, if I was interested in going into the military, I don't, the recruitment ads they're putting out um, wouldn't do it for me. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't do it for me. I wouldn't be interested in going in and being surrounded by people telling you how to be less this way, more this way, being more inclusive. I'm like, man, we need to figure out how we're going to win a war here. No job was worth dropping like a flyover. Bill Hilly, Bill Hilly says, yeah, that's some people's perspective on it. Some people just drew a line that said, no, this thing's experimental and I'm not biting. Off topic, but what is with this stupid triangle hand gesture? Raven P. I don't know. I don't know. Um, there's a lot of symbolism. I don't know if this is what you're talking about. There's a lot of symbolism, especially in the entertainment field, that deals with the Illuminati, or it's believed that it deals with the Illuminati. Now, whether or not it's that triangle that you're talking about, I don't know. Um, I get my entertainment from 30 years ago. I watch older stuff primarily, so I can't really speak to it much. Jack, thank you for the service. I was the last Marine Corps basic class with woodland camo before digitals. I actually prefer the older camo. I'm not huge on the digital camo. It looks good on football/soccer jerseys, but I prefer the older stuff. Bill B says, "Oh, the triangle's a sign of the beaver." I can't with you, man. Come on. Chewbacca says this is a diamond cutter. Oh Lord. Gunsmoke, yes, Mr. Ray. This is the kind of stuff I'm still watching. So there ain't a whole lot of Illuminati symbolism in Andy Griffith and Gunsmoke and stuff. I mean, there's just not. They didn't worry about the wokeness back then. It's the diamond cutter from DDP. Yeah, I think he does yoga or something now. I don't know. What else do we have going on? We got anything else before we jumping off here for today? I might need a job after today. Dynamite. Why is that? I got a job for you, Dynamite. All you got to do is message Chewbacca. We need some leadership. The job doesn't pay, though. That's the problem. The Rifleman. Yeah, it's an excellent show. Grand Mavitt, I hate digital camo. It looks stupid. I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't prefer it over the older stuff. I prefer just the straight up olive drab green. I really do. I mean, just the basic green. But I mean, I know why they switched to the digital camo. It does make sense. It probably does a better job, but I just don't prefer it. I like the classic look. You know what I'm saying? I like pink camo, Kelly says. Well, yeah, Vietnam, doctor says. 15-minute cities. Okay. Kodiak says 15-minute cities are coming. Yeah, they're the future. I was just telling y'all that I've been researching these football clubs. If anybody knows about the Premier League that can help a brother out, because I don't even have a team or nothing. But anyway, one of the teams actually, the entire stadium is cashless. Tottenham, the Hotspurs, they're cashless. I figured this out last night, and I'm like, why? This sucks, man. This is moving forward. This is it. Take everybody, push them in, cram them into a 15-minute city, monitor them 24/7. Everything's digital. Everything. First on your phone, eventually on a chip inside of you. That is the plan. They don't hide it. Katrinka, thank you. They don't hide it. They're not running from it. This is their future planned out for you. Now the question becomes, when they try and do this, when they try and push you off of your land or encourage you at gunpoint to get off your land and offer you what they think your land is worth and push you on down the way, how are people going to react? You know? No, football, Jim Shady. Football, man. Yeah, soccer. Let's get to 1,000 likes. I thought that said 10,000 likes. Yeah, let's get to 1,000 likes. We can do it. We've done it a couple times in the past, but it doesn't happen very often. We'll see how people react. I think most people, here's the issue. When the doctors begin to move to 15-minute cities and there's no doctor in your immediate area, what are you going to do? When there are no more clinics around, none of this stuff, at that point, what do you do? Because when they start to move stuff that people need and they know this, moving the schools, moving the doctors and the clinics and the pharmacies and things, people are going to have no choice, I think, but to go. What are you going to do at that point? You're going to get a medical degree. There'll be a few that stick around that want no part of it, but they'll fade away. Over time they'll fade away, and it's coming, folks. And I hate this. I love y'all, but I hate the digital age. I really do. I want to go back to movie stores where you walk in. I was just telling my wife, well, I was ranting about this actually. She was standing out at the Red Box, buying my son a DVD or something the other day. And I said, I hate this. We used to be able to go into the movie store. Used to be able to go into record stores. We had one, Sam Goody, that was nearby. Loved it. Used to go to the record stores to buy concert and wrestling tickets and stuff, stand in line. None of this stuff is around anymore, and it sucks. Blockbuster, yeah, we had a few of those. I'm an analog man in a digital world. Cowboy in the jungle. There's so many fans of analog and fans of the way it used to be that I don't understand why we allow it to happen to ourselves. We're just allowing the world to change, and it sucks. Not to get off on a rant or anything, but yeah, Blockbuster was a weekly stop when me and Dome got married. So my wife and I, we would go in on payday, and we didn't rent, but we would go in and they would have that table where they were selling stuff they'd rent it for a while. We'd buy 4 or 5. We still have a ton of these DVDs. We just scoop up 4 or 5 for 20 bucks or something, and this is how we built our collection at home, because when we first started out, we didn't have cable or nothing, man, and we had to watch the DVD player and stuff, and that's literally the only TV we had. We had the older TV. It was like, I don't know, 20 something inch tube TV and a DVD player and a hoopty. Getting back to the hoopty, Amelia. Oh, yeah. Little Honda Civic. VHS. I remember VHS. Jim, man. Shady. I remember my mom renting a VCR because we couldn't afford one. So she rented one. They used to rent them on the weekends. I'm not kidding. Some people may remember this. Ours came in a black leather, like, travel case or whatever. And I don't remember how much, $15 or $20 for the entire weekend. And the VHS tapes went in the top. Like, the thing popped out and you put it in and shut it back down. And people like my daughter, she's very, very tech savvy. Both my kids are. But I was just, who was I telling? Chewbacca maybe the other night. And maybe I was telling y'all, I don't remember. My phone would not charge anymore. Like, the port on it's dead. So I had to get a wireless charger. And I didn't even know what to get. I had to take my daughter with me. And she's like I'm a child. She's like, "Dad, you need this right here for your phone." She said, what model phone do you have? iPhone 10, iPhone 12. I said, I don't even know. I didn't know how to check it. She had to go through my phone and check it. It's pitiful. Party lines. Yeah, Amelia, if I ever get another phone, it's not going to be an Apple next time around. My wife got me this one. I hate cell phones. They're so aggravating, but where my kids are at school and, my wife's like, if the school needs to call you, they need to call you. You need a phone, son. I did Cowboy in the Jungle. I actually took a small Q-tip and some alcohol, and I was cleaning it out and everything. No, it just sucks. Apple sucks, man. I don't feel bad about getting older, anti-socialist. It's not that I feel bad about getting older. It's just I feel bad because the world's changing around me, and it's changing, I would say, for the worse. I mean, there's some good things, streaming movies and stuff like this. That's pretty cool, but I still would prefer to go back into Blockbuster over that. Just the whole social aspect is gone, man. People, they don't know how to socialize. They do not have. I've noticed this when younger people, especially when they get out of a vehicle or something and they're going into the store, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're on the phone until they get inside the store just to have something to do, to fidget around with or something. The socialization is gone. And to spin it into prepping for a second, this is going to be an issue um, if the world goes to crap, and you have to barter or you have to approach people and say, "Hey, I need help." These people aren't even going to know what to do. They don't know how to talk to people without texting. They don't even text anymore for the most part. I'm still texting, and my daughter's like, "Dad, nobody texts anymore. You and Mom are the only people I know that text. Everybody else is snapping and stuff like this. I don't even have Snapchat." And she's like, "My friends are here and here and here, and we're snapping and all this stuff." Yes, I remember payphones. Wing it with Ethan. Yes. The last bad breakup I had, I was talking to my now ex, and she was just being shady, son. And we did this via payphones a long time ago. I don't know, Jack. I don't know. Like, my daughter, she's getting older. We give her a little freedom, but we're the kind of parents where we trust her, but every week or two, completely out of the blue, my wife will take her phone and she goes completely through all the social media and stuff. So my daughter knows this is coming at some point. So but she's a really good kid. She walks the line anyway. Um, I don't even know what a snap is. I wouldn't know what to do on Snapchat. People ask sometimes, "Hey, are you on Snapchat?" I'm like, "Y'all are lucky I can figure this out." You know, if this thing didn't have USB ports on it and it wouldn't plug and play, I wouldn't be on here right now. That's straight up, man. Collect calling. I remember that too. God, what was the commercials? 1-800-collect or something. Um, oh, what were those commercials where you call collect and it said Bob had a baby, it's a boy or something like that, but they'd say it real fast. They were trying to get news out without having to pay. Oh man, I'm so old. Pagers, yes, I had one of those. I had one of those. It was see-through red or burgundy or something like that. I'm I'm a caveman, yes, Australian woman, pretty much. I wear shoes though. Caveman James sometimes does not wear shoes. I have shoes on and pants. Let me close with this. I have pants. Look, there you go. People, I'll see these comments sometimes. John's not wearing pants. I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing shoes right now. Um, Remember the 3-year-old Pumas that I got on clearance? Right there they are, son. That's right. That's right. All true. Smoke signals. No, I ain't that old. Uncle Charlie has no pants on. This is believable, Big T. This is believable. Yeah, ink scars. I remember having to drive to a payphone to call in. I'll close with this. When I first met my wife and we were talking, I can remember driving because I was hanging with the boys and we were going to the mall and stuff in the hoopty, getting a page. And all you got on the screen was the number, and you knew that's my girl paging me, son. So then you had to pull over to payphone and you call her back and see what's going on. Crazy. These old people, these young people, they don't know how good they got it now with all this snapping and stuff. Oh man. But we had 99-cent gas. So there's the trade-off. I prefer not to wear pants. Wing it with Ethan. Well, yeah. I prefer to wear pants. Just throwing it out there. Yeah, he is a professional. There you go. I'm a professional. I've got pants. They fit. They're buttoned up. They're clean. There's a shocker. Nasty payphones. Yuck. Bama Jim. That's weak. All right. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Sorry for taking up so much time rambling this morning about payphones. Y'all got me thinking about the 80s now. No sagging going on here, Quinn. I can assure you. But thank y'all for being here, and I'll talk to you in chat tomorrow morning. God bless.